Australian ministers resign after leader survives challenge. And the mainstream media would like you to think that this was a slam dunk, but trust me, it was anything but that. But let's get into the story. So, obviously, guys, I'm joined once again by Satellite of Discontent. Say hello.
Hey guys. Yeah, I heard that it was close.
Oh yeah. Last I heard, it was like 38 to 45 or something, wasn't it? They might say in the article, but yeah, it was pretty close. But yeah.
Unfortunately, though, and I guess I'll skip ahead a little there. Sorry. I did hear though that it's like he took like 3 steps back, though. Unfortunately.
Who did? Malcolm or
Peter? Yeah, Dutton ended up on the backbench, you know.
Yeah. Let's jump into the story and then we'll talk about what actually the outcome. Yeah. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull called his government to unite behind him after he survived an internal leadership challenge Tuesday, but several ministers who backed the failed challenger offered their resignations in a move that widens the rift in the government ranks. His challenger, Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton, resigned from the cabinet after the vote, but the amount of support he gained surprised many people. Turnbull ruled out any retaliation against ministers suspected of supporting Dutton and said he had invited Dutton to remain in the senior security portfolio. Quote, "I don't bear any grudge against Peter Dutton for having stood up and challenged me today," Turnbull said, or Turncoat as I like to call him, at a news conference with Deputy Party Leader Julia Bishop, who retained her position unopposed in Tuesday's ballot. "We know that disunity undermines the ability of any government to get its job done, and its unity is absolutely critical," Turnbull added. But Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister James McGrath, Minister for International Development and the Pacific Concord Federer Wells, might be mispronouncing, and an Assistant Treasurer Mike Sakara, might be mispronouncing, confirmed within hours that they had offered their resignation after backing Dutton. "Our Conservative base strongly feel their voice has been eroded," Wells wrote in a resignation letter to Turnbull, a centrist leader. I'm going to get to this in a sec. "A vote for Peter Dutton is a matter of integrity this afternoon. I offered my resignation," McGrath posted on social media. Other ministers have also repeatedly resigned or are planning to resign in a move that undermines Turnbull's hopes for his political survival. It was not immediately clear whether Turnbull will accept the resignations. Turnbull called a vote in a meeting of Conservative Liberal Party lawmakers as speculation mounted about his support within the government, which is gearing up for the general election early next year. The government has trailed in the opposition Labor Party most opinion polls since the last election in 2016. Turnbull won 48 to 35, so there was roughly about 12, 13 votes in it. One lawmaker abstained and the others were away on sick leave. Does make you wonder what it would have been like if they were all there. Australia has gone through an extraordinary period of political instability since Prime Minister John Howard lost power in 2007 after more than 11 years in office. Ousting Turnbull would have been the 6th leadership change since then. Next month, Turnbull will become Australia's longest-serving Prime Minister since Howard, having held office for 3 years and 4 days. Dutton's supporters say the former police drug squad detective could have amused enough support to successfully challenge the leadership if the vote had been held Thursday before the Parliament takes the 2-week break and lawmakers wouldn't gather again until September the 10th. Dutton later thanked his colleagues for their considerable support in the ballot. "I believe that the best person to lead the Liberal Party to success at the next election," Dutton told reporters. He said he respected the outcome of the ballot and fully supports Turnbull. He didn't specifically rule out challenging the Prime Minister again. Treasurer Scott Morrison will act as Home Affairs Minister.
Well, I have something breaking, and I suppose quickly search this up while we're going.
Yeah.
So, thanks to my missus, she heard on the radio basically about an hour and a half ago, Peter Dutton is planning to run. He's campaigning. He's going to plan to campaign. So that's interesting. It could change the course that these guys are going to take. If they're going to resign, maybe they won't resign and stay, because then they can run, like, you know, they can be alongside Dutton when he tries to go for PM at the next election.
I can't find anything at the moment.
Well,
hang on, let me. Yeah, I can't find anything about that at the moment on the news search.
that's fine. She said she heard it on the radio this morning in the car.
Okay.
So
maybe maybe there hasn't been.
I'd say that it's not fake news.
Yeah.
It's not. It's probably not. But it's too breaking to find it right now. Then
maybe. Yeah. Look, obviously, take it everybody with a grain of salt. I'm not saying your wife is fake news or anything like that, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So as for this, I definitely think the Liberals would be better under Peter Dutton.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Australia would be better.
Yes.
I don't know if Tony Abbott, like, his ideas have any brush off on Dutton. Abbott, Dutton, tongue twisters. But I mean, you know, one of the nice things I liked about Abbott was that he was all about, you know, the getting coal back into our power systems and all that sort of thing. I don't know if Dutton believes in those things too, like getting Australia, you know, to have its independence back with power, manufacturing, all those. I don't know a lot about his policies, but definitely I know that his policies, from what I've seen come through over the last few months, are pretty sound. You know, he has good ideas about immigration and all these other things too. So I'd say that we would be on a better course. I would believe, at least on a few policies I've heard so far, Australia would be doing better.
Also, the fact is that we would actually have a true right or conservative leaning party. We wouldn't have the two left parties that we have at the moment.
And from what I've seen too is that Dutton, he knows how to say no to SJWs.
Yes.
So he does not bend the knee.
Yeah. So look, at the end of the day, I definitely think it would be better for the Liberals to actually have that. You know, at the end of the day, he would also get a lot of the supporters from Pauline Hanson and whatnot to come over. So that would be great for the Liberal Party as well. He hasn't ruled out taking another swing at the run for Prime Minister. But here's a little bit of interesting news for you. I heard that he actually wasn't ready to actually call the vote yet. That reportedly the Prime Minister, Turnbull, had actually called the vote early when Dutton hadn't got all his ducks in a line.
Okay.
So yeah, instead of Peter Dutton being ready and having everybody lined up to vote for him, Turnbull decided to call it early, screwed Dutton over in the vote, so to speak. And that's what they were saying is that if it had been done on Thursday, it could have been a very different story.
You know, I kind of think that maybe that's like a blessing in disguise, because if Dutton got in now, we have an election not long. It's less than 12 months away. Would we really vote for a guy who is already in and didn't get in through a vote? I think it would work out better that he runs and gets voted in.
Well, I'd like to see Dutton run with, like, Pauline Hanson.
Maybe that could happen. Who knows?
I doubt it will, but that's what I would like to see. I would like to see these conservative parties, Pauline Hanson's One Nation. Also, I think there's a Australian Conservative Party now. I think so. And I think they're called the Liberal Democrats. They seem very conservative. They're all about small government, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'd like to see all these parties join together, give each other preferences and whatnot, and at the end of the day, actually start recruiting some of these people that support Peter Dutton and get Peter Dutton in. And I also think that Pauline Hanson needs to bury the hatchet with I've forgotten his name now, who made those comments and she fired the other day.
Well, to borrow an American terminology, but that would basically be Australia's red wave.
Yeah. And I reckon they would have a very good chance of winning too.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
There's a little bit more on the story. There's about 3 paragraphs left, 3 sentences left, so we'll jump in and get the rest of this done. Nick Amash, a political analyst at Monash University in Melbourne, believes lawmakers are abandoning Turnbull because they fear he will lead them to a crashing defeat in the elections. Turnbull made a major concession to his opponents within his party on Monday by abandoning plans to legislate and limit greenhouse gas emissions. The concession avoided having the most conservative government lawmakers voting against the legislation in Parliament, openly undermining his authority. But former Prime Minister Tony Abbott, who was replaced by Turnbull in a ballot of government lawmakers in 2015, advised Turnbull in a statement on Tuesday that unity has to be created and loyalty has to be earned. They just can't be demanded.
Unity and loyalty don't trump facts. At the end of the day, reducing emissions is a white elephant for Australia.
Yeah,
our emissions are at the bottom of the chart as far as compared to other worlds. Yes, we might have high per capita, but then we also have, I mean, for us here in Australia, right? Just a quick little thing. Here, it's common for people to go to, like, say, somebody is traveling from America or something, and they say, they ask you for directions, and we just go, it's down the road that way.
Yeah.
Then these people hop in their car, and they just get really, really lost and confused. That's because our distances are, in our head, 25 kilometers is down the road for us. So, of course, we're going to have high capita when we drive distances, for basic things where Americans can basically walk everywhere. We have a very bad, we don't have great, public transport, because it costs the government so much money to run public transport in anything but a CBD. This country has to burn a lot of energy in whatever form to operate. It's just the way this country works.
It's a very big country.
It's with low amounts of livable land. It's all sparsed out. So we have high capita. One of the things is, like, we look at power stations and they pollute a lot more than any other country. Even if we use high grade quality power stations, they lose tons of power on transmission distances. This is a scientific thing I looked into a little while ago, that the transmission losses on our power grid is astronomical compared to America. So for every megawatt that we produce, we have to also produce several times more carbon emissions just on the same amount, just because of transmission losses.
Okay. Why do we have such high transmission losses?
Because of the distance travel. Because the amount of distance, the density of the houses, like, you have housing estates, housing areas all around, and the distance between cities and areas is so high compared to, like, in the States, that the amount of kilometers that the line travels before getting to its destination is quite much longer. So for every certain kilometers, you lose a certain amount of the power in transmission losses.
Okay. Yeah.
So our power grid is basically killing power way more because of its square foot.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors, and to be honest, I don't think Australia. Look, I would challenge their data to say that we're pretty high per capita. I think it's a let a crack. But I'd have to look into it, and that's something we can talk about in another story.
Yeah, well, I would actually I actually need to fact check that myself. I know some facts about the like I just what I talked about, transmission losses are higher, etc. Those little things like that. But I would also like to see the data and see exactly how did they pin that down, because it would be the only argument the government had for a carbon tax, I would say.
Yeah, and we know these carbon taxes is just a way that they can do wealth distribution with rich countries and poor countries. So
exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, we should probably get back on topic because we're going way off topic here.
Sorry.
But no, sorry. But like I say, yeah, look, at the end of the day, I would have liked to have seen Peter Dutton actually run and run the country. Look, even if we are 4 so months out from an election, I think a lot of the Conservatives would get behind him, and I really do think that Liberals are in serious problem when it comes to if they go calling a election in January. I think they're going to have serious problems. I reckon Pauline's going to do a good job.
Here's another problem with Turncoat. One of the things is that if you notice, you don't hear from him. So he sits in his ivory tower, and he does whatever he does, but you basically never see him talk on anything or come out in any sort of way, right? He doesn't say anything. And then all of a sudden, after this almost outing from the government and replacement by Dutton, he finally does come out in support of the farmers.
Yeah.
It's almost like the only reason that he's even bothering to talk to the plebs out here is to try to go, hey, I am supporting the farmers, guys. It's all right.
No, the farmers was beforehand. He did support the farmers before the vote.
Sure, okay, but okay, fine, but like he is just simply coming out.
He's only coming out because of public pressure.
Sure, it could be public pressure, but I'll also maybe just say that he might have known that they were about to vote him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. But yeah, at the end of that, I would say it's more likely public pressure. I know radio stations, the media has been talking about it. Several radio stations have been talking about us giving $4 trillion or $1 billion or whatever it is it'd be billion. Yeah.
Billion,
sorry, I think it is. Yeah, $1 billion to foreign aid, but we flat out giving them how many 100 million, whatever it is, dollars. Like literally at the moment, Coles seems to be doing a thing where they'll go through and they'll match $1 for $1 for all donations. Like Coles is actually doing something more than the freaking government at this point. So look, at the end of the day, but the thing is, at the end of the day, and we should probably get off this because we're hitting the 18-minute mark. But at the end of the day, what's the other option? What do? You vote for Labor. You're going to have open borders, and you're going to have a whole bunch of migrants swamping your country. Like, this is the problem. We have a left. We have a full alt left. We have a left, and then we have Pauline Hanson. At the end of the day, she's the better out of the three options, to be honest. But I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people are unhappy with her these days, just on a few things I've noticed.
Yeah. Because let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Do you believe that Turncoat would have survived if the vote had been called a few days later and Dutton had got all these ducks in a row? Do you think that Peter Dutton will go through and actually run again at Turnbull? Or do you think that he's going to put it to bed and just leave it? How do you think the Liberals are going to go when it comes to the vote, the election that they're suspecting was going to be around in January? Or do you think someone like Pauline Hanson has a chance to win it? Or do you think Labor's going to win it and we're going to get flooded with migrants? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great night and enjoy.